You bought yourself a pH meter, great work, so you wanted to keep an eye on how your pH is doing in your aquaponics system, and then you're going, how do I calibrate it? Sometimes there's really clear instructions on this, and sometimes there's less clear instructions on this. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to show you how to calibrate your pH meter, just a small little pen that people use. But the one thing I will say is if it's been sitting away in your garage for too long, then you'll find that the head is going to be rather dry and it's not going to give you an accurate reading. So just a tip on that one, that you might need to take it to a hydroponic store or an aquarium to get them to, you know, check and make sure it is actually working. But aside from that point, let's get into and see how to calibrate a pH meter. Check out the description to find some more information about aquaponics and how you can move forward and get this happening. Alright, so I'm about to show you how to calibrate your pH meter, but the important thing is that you do calibrate it and that you regularly calibrate it. Every month is probably a good average, but you need to check it, and the only way of checking it is to have another one there to test it. So calibrating every month, just make sure that you are getting your accurate reading. Wouldn't it be horrible if you've calibrated it once and never done it again, and your pH is dropping naturally within your nitrification process within the aquaponics system, and it's actually down at, you know, say a reading of 6 or lower, but your pH meter is still telling you that it is 7.3 or 7.4 because you haven't calibrated it? Well, that will impact the amount of food that your fish will eat, the amount of nitrification that's happening, so changing ammonia into nitrite into nitrate. That will all be affected by your pH changing. Okay, so you have to have accurate readings on your pH, and to do that is by making sure that your pH meter, if you're using a pH meter, and if you're watching this then you do have a pH meter, you need to keep checking it and keep calibrating it. So I'm about to show you how to calibrate it. Okay, follow the instructions on your specific one. They're all different, so I can show you what mine does, but you will need to do what yours does. And often they will have a recommended guide as to how often you should recalibrate. It's critical that you do that. Otherwise, what's the point of having it? If you're not going to use a piece of equipment the way it's meant to be used, what's the point? Okay, so let's move into how we're going to calibrate. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm putting videos up every couple of days, so make sure that you hit subscribe so you can get all of them. So, whoa. Okay, so in this particular pH meter, it does come with instructions, and we need to calibrate it, which is something you need to do with all your pH meters. This one came with a calibration for 7 and for 4. It's a single point calibration, this one, so that means that I only need to use one of those, which is awesome. So I've got my demineralized water and a cup of that water. What we need to do is we need to put the buffering solution in there, and then we've got the batteries in, nice, pop the electrode in, and then adjust using the screwdriver and the hole, pretty cool, huh? Adjust that till we get to 6.9. So you want to make sure that with this solution, don't get it into any, you know, your drinking stuff. And don't put it in any way where it can have anything that's contaminating it, so dirty water. The reason we use demineralized water, we use that for batteries and all that sort of stuff. We know exactly what the pH is, so if I use tap water, everyone's tap water will be different. Okay? So there's nothing in there that's going to contaminate that. And we're now wanting to pop the electrode in. Turn it on. You're not going to be able to see the value, but it's coming up at 6.8. Move it across to show you, and yeah, hopefully you can 6.7, 6.8. So I'm going to use my little screwdriver, pop it in that hole I showed you, and turn it until you get 6.9. As per the instructions. Okay, that's 6.6, going the wrong way. Always do things slowly. And it's just going down. .9. So now, hopefully you can see that says 6.9, which is exactly what I want it to be. So now, I can turn that up, that's calibrated. This will be calibrated for a while, but I will need to recalibrate it every now and then. And every now and then will depend on the quality of your pH meter, so I can't give you an exact every week, every month. When I was doing water watch, we used to use these type of things, and we had to calibrate them every time we went to a new location. Now, if you're just using it in the one system, probably every month or so you won't need to calibrate it, but you will need to, because it's the only way you can be accurate as to what your pH is doing. So, and pH will fluctuate within an aquaponic system. That's natural. It happens in the wild, so it will happen in our aquaponic system. So this is how we calibrate, and now we'll go for testing some water and fixing it up, because I know it's a bit low.